2024 is coming to an end, but are you ready for a New Year glow up? Because I am. If you got BPD like me, you got to be proactive. You have to set yourself up for success. So let's talk about what that looks like when you're planning for the new year. I feel like sometimes we have a tendency to just like operate on autopilot. And even though that might feel good sometimes, it doesn't work if you're actually working towards a goal or trying to live a different life. I know goal setting with BPD can be challenging because sometimes we have these intense emotions that can throw us off, and it makes it difficult to stay consistent, which can make goal setting seem super overwhelming. I think the biggest thing when it comes to goal setting is to remember that you're human. Even neurotypical people struggle sometimes when it comes to goal setting and being consistent and showing up for themselves. But remembering that we're human, I think, is a big tool to our success, because I find that sometimes we just seem to forget that and we're so hard on ourselves. So if you can enter this new year by giving yourself grace and remembering in those moments that you are human, put it as your lock screen. I want you to say, I am human. Or put a sticky note somewhere. You need to remind yourself that you are human. And it's okay to have an off day. It's okay to need to rest and recover. But your goal will still be there. You will still get there on your own timing, and that's okay. At the end of the day, small steps are still progress. And I think we tend to ignore that and gaslight ourselves into thinking that we're never going to achieve whatever it is we're working towards, because the steps might be smaller, or maybe we need a rest day, and we bully ourselves. So don't do that, okay? We're going to stop bullying ourselves next year. I think setting goals can be super empowering, especially when they're done in a way that gives us space to be human and also respects our emotional ups and downs. And that goes for anybody, not just people with BPD, but especially people with BPD. Another hack for setting goals for your new year as somebody who has BPD is to set values instead of goals. I think intention is the most important thing. And so I, for the past few years, have set an intention for my year. This year I wavered away from my intention, which was to build community, because I had to kind of restore my relationship with myself. I think that setting those intentions are so important. A couple of years ago, my intention was to be intentional. So everything I did, I thought about it, and if it aligned with me or it didn't, which also boosted my authenticity, helped me to understand who I am, what I want to do, where I want to be, the people that I want to share my energy with. And that was in 2023, which was a really life-changing year for me. And I think that that has poured into how I try to live my day-to-day life, right? When I know what my values are. My values are to be intentional, to be present, to find my authentic self and align my actions with those principles. For example, if your intention is to build connection, then you should probably water your relationships, make new friends, go into spaces that you can be social, find new hobbies and interests, and then find people to build that community with. Or if your intention might be growth, what is it that makes you feel good? Maybe you want to learn a new skill, read some more books, diversify your vocabulary. Whatever it is, it can tie into that growth, right? Or maybe your intention is wellness, and that might look like creating a more positive relationship with your mind and your body and your soul, because I think all those aspects tie into wellness. Prioritizing the things that you're putting into your body, the things that you're consuming, not just through food, but also visually. What kind of movies are you consuming? Are these the type of movies that help to create a positive experience in your mind? Do they create an environment for you to feel good? How are you showing up for your physical body? Are you exercising or looking for new ways to incorporate movement into your daily routines? I think when we can just incorporate these things into our daily routines, they don't feel like such a task, and so it's much easier to obtain our goals. I think aligning your goals with your values and your core belief system helps you to stay on track so much more. It provides a foundation to help make your goals feel more meaningful and to help keep you on track. Have you ever heard about the term SMART goals? Well, we can tailor that to BPD as well. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And is it connected to a time frame? For example, instead of saying your goal is to get healthier, to reframe that as a SMART goal, you might say, you want to attend one yoga class for the month of January. Or maybe you want to journal for 10 minutes, 3 days a week, just to help you process and understand your emotions. Also, be flexible with yourself. It's okay to have an off day. And sometimes setting goals and working towards them can become overwhelming, especially when other stressors start to add up on top of it. Remember, this is your life and you shouldn't be comparing it to anybody else's. You're exactly where you're meant to be and you will get to where you're supposed to be on your own time. I think a really good way to set yourself up for success is to have a visual attached to your goal. So for me personally, I really like to do vision boards. It's something that I can stick on the wall and I can refer to when I'm feeling maybe out of alignment with achieving my goals. It helps me to stay on track and stay consistent because I see this visual on my wall that's saying, these are all the things that you said that you wanted. And if you don't work towards it, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Your frequency has to be in alignment with whatever it is that you're wishing to achieve. So if you're wanting to get a new car, then girly, that might mean that you got to stop ordering takeout, maybe cook at home to save a little bit of extra money. You have to look at this car, right? If it's in front of you every single day, imagine yourself, visualize, right? And that's easier done if you have a vision board. Put it in a space that you are going to see every single day, maybe even multiple times a day. You can create vision boards by just printing off pictures, cutting them out, and placing them on your vision board. Or if you want to do it in a different way, this is what I did on my phone. So a couple of years ago, I created this vision board. I went to the Shuffles app and I just found a whole bunch of pictures and it allows you to cut them out, place them on here. So I had traveling, I had romance, I had more reading, working out, more money, more self-romance even, because I had flowers on here. And most of these things I have achieved. And I think that part of that is because I see it every day. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make another digital vision board this year because this game changer, like I made this at the beginning of 2023. And like I said, 2023 was one of the most life-changing years for me. So I think that it's important for me to step back into that and to create a vision board. Can we hold each other accountable for that this year? Maybe I'll do a video on how I create a vision board or when I create a vision board, what we'll include in it. But I think vision boarding is so important. There are so many things that I have achieved from having vision boards. And I think that it could work for you too. One thing I know we're all kind of guilty of is obsessing over our progress. And I feel like even more so with BPD, like we can be really obsessive with our progress, especially when it's not something that's going to happen instantly. That like delayed gratification is really challenging. I know for myself at least, but I feel like maybe other people with BPD probably struggle with that as well. Because you want to see results. Like if I'm making a pasta, okay, I want my gratification to be relatively quick. I want to be able to sit there and be like, okay, these are the steps that I have to go through. It's going to take me like 30 minutes to make it. And at the end of it, I'm going to have this delicious meal and instant gratification. And that's something that I think we have to learn is that delaying gratification is so rewarding. I think a way to kind of give yourself instant gratification is to have a habit tracker. Put a marble into a jar every day that you work out. Put a check mark on a board every day that you journal. Also, using apps like Notion are really great for creating a step-by-step guide on how you're going to go through the motions of obtaining your goal. But also for daily tracking, I think that that's so important because that's your instant gratification. Every time you get to put a check mark, every time you get to color in a square. We did habit trackers last year. We didn't do them for very long. But that doesn't mean that this coming year, we won't have more success with it. I think sometimes life happens and we get knocked off from our goals, but it's like, okay, how can I get back on track? Even doing a weekly check-in with yourself. Okay, what worked this week? What didn't? How can I show up better next week? Doing like some sort of weekly journal where you can really get down on paper and just break down how the entire week went and how you showed up for yourself. And maybe what happened along the way that made it difficult for you to show up for yourself. Maybe there was a snowstorm and you're like, I am not going to the gym. Maybe you were getting your period and you had a craving. So you're like, okay, I'm going to have a cupcake. That does not mean that you are so far off track. That just means that you kind of veered off for a second, but you will get right into it, okay? And having a cupcake, don't deprive yourself, okay? Get that cupcake. Because I find that if you do deprive yourself, you're more likely to fall off track completely later on down the road than if you just let yourself indulge every once in a while. right? Like, you have a craving, eat the cupcake. But at least understand that, like, you're human. You're going to have cravings. You're going to smell foods and be like, that smells good. Or maybe your goal was to build connection and build community. And maybe you were going through a stressful time and you kind of isolated for a little bit and you disconnected. But checking in with yourself regularly will help you to understand why that happened, which makes it easier for you to move forward. I can't stress this enough, that having an accountability partner. When I actually work out consistently and this thing sends notifications to my friends, my girlfriend, and my mom that like, hey, just completed a workout. And they send me those little prompted messages as like words of encouragement. I love it. So get you an accountability partner, someone that you trust, someone who is compassionate and can help to hold you accountable and keep you on track with your goals, but in a loving way, right? Someone that also knows that you're human, because that's important. I need some water. Also, framing your like ask for an accountability partner as support instead of judgment or pressure. You know, you can tell the person like, I'm sharing this with you because I know that I might need support and encouragement, but I don't want to feel judged if I have an off day. And I think that's really important too, because like, nobody wants to feel judged for being human. And if I'm telling you that you can't judge yourself for being human, no one else can judge you for being human either, okay? Also, about being human, I need to fill real bad. I have a nail appointment coming up. Don't look at those. You need to set yourself up with some coping strategies for setbacks. Like I said, life happens, but you need to give yourself grace and you need to have a way to move through that and maneuver around it to get back on track without feeling guilty, without trying to push yourself too hard and make up for lost time. I know that sometimes with BPD, setbacks can feel like complete failure because we go into that black and white thinking, all or nothing mindset that really makes us feel bad for even the most minor of setbacks. But you need to remember that everybody who's ever achieved something at some point had a setback. They had to step back from their goal for a second or take a few days off and get back into it or rest and recover because maybe they got sick. Maybe their goal was to write a book and they couldn't focus, or they lost their inspiration and they had to go experience life to be inspired. That applies to you as well. Sometimes you have to rest and recover. Sometimes you have to experience life. Things in life happen. So you need to have a system that allows you to move through a setback without judging yourself. A setback plan might include some different grounding techniques like deep breathing, maybe square breathing. You could also do affirmations like, I'm allowed to take breaks. I'm allowed to rest. Rest is important. I'm human and it's okay to be human. And give yourself permission to restart without guilt. Maybe include that in your affirmations when you're ready to restart. And say, it's okay to restart. It's okay to start over. At least I'm here. At least I'm showing up. And I think that's the most important part. I think a big part of staying consistent is incorporating your new goals into your existing habits and routines. Habit stacking, that's what I learned in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. They talk about the different ways that you can create habits and create new routines to become the best version of yourself. And that comes with habit stacking. For example, you want to incorporate journaling into your already existing morning routine. Maybe as your coffee's brewing, now you're going to journal, right? You can just stack that on. You start your coffee, okay, I'm going to journal now. Or if your goal is to work out, picking your workout clothes the day before so that they're already set out. So in the morning, that's what you're putting on first thing in the morning, and you're starting your day with that workout so that it's out of the way and you're setting yourself up for success. It's also really important to make sure that you are creating these routines that offer flexibility and aren't too restrictive. Because again, you're human. Something that I think is underrated and that we maybe don't do often enough is rewarding ourselves. You got to acknowledge the small wins. I'm promising you that will boost your motivation. Okay, you went to the gym 3 times this week. Okay, but last week you only went once. There's your win. You should celebrate yourself. You should be happy. Celebrate that. Look in the mirror and say, I'm that girl and I did that. You wanted to start writing a book? You wrote your first 3 pages. You did it. Maybe your goal is to save money and you have a number at the end that you want to reach. And this week you saved $20 or $10. At least you did that. You sacrificed a couple coffees on your way to work and you made your coffee at home and you put away your coffee money for the week. Those little wins should always be celebrated and you deserve that. That celebration can look like affirmations in the mirror and telling yourself that you're that girl, or rewarding yourself with a restful and relaxing day. Maybe going out for tea or coffee with friends, or just spending time alone in solitude and watching the rain fall on a gloomy Sunday afternoon. Don't forget that your support systems are in place to help you towards your goals. Your support system could include family members, your therapist, online communities, your chosen family. Planning for the year and just moving through life in general can feel a lot more manageable when you know you're not doing it alone. Remember, being proactive does not mean to be perfect. Your journey is not to be perfect. Perfection is unattainable. It's not a smart goal. Your goal here is to not be perfect. It's to be human and to move through it and treat yourself with a little bit more grace. Embrace the challenges that come along and believe in yourself. And if you need an accountability partner, let's create a community in the comments, because I think that there are a lot of us that have goals and things that we want to achieve this year, and it's easier when we do it together. So who wants to be my accountability partner? But in all that, I really hope that you have the most wonderful, the most rewarding, the most life-fulfilling 2025. I feel like a lot of us have been just coasting this year, and we deserve to thrive. We deserve to thrive, so let's thrive together. Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and make sure that you subscribe and you like this. And like I said, hit the comment section and let's create a community of accountability together forever. Anyways, bye.